I want to ask you, I want to pick your brain about this here. So I know that the way that a lot of people think about this, especially when you're a, fairly broke personal trainer who's struggling in an industry that usually isn't financially very well off, right? Your first business mentor is pretty fucking scary because obviously you're investing money that you may not have. Now, most people get on those calls or get into that decision-making process and they say, what if I fail? It seems pretty clear though that you don't say that. So I mean, like, how do you process that?
Well, I mean, yeah, what if you fail? Like okay, you're going to fail anyway. First of all, like you are failing. Mm-hmm. If you're not where you want to be, then you have failed, right? Which is fine. It's just a thing that people go through. I fail all the time. You guys have failed. I'm sure there are things that have gone well, things that haven't gone well. It's like, but if you live life with the constant, like, oh my God, what if I fail? It's like, then don't leave your house ever. What if you get hit by a bus? What if you fucking die? What if you get shot in the face? Like, there's so many things that can happen to us. Like, if we live life based off like the inevitability of failure, we're only ever going to make decisions that keep us exactly where we are, because like the risk mitigation is different. The risk that the risk that I think about is like, what is the risk of never achieving the goal? So it's like, fuck, what if I never figure out how to achieve that goal? Not if what if I fail? It's like, well, yeah, man, but you might fail 3 times, but like, at least you gave it a fucking crack. Like not everything that I've done has succeeded. Like I've failed. Like when my first son was born, right? My son's 5. Like, dude, me and my wife used to argue about buying him $4 t-shirts. Like I've been fucking broke. Like for a long time, because I just worked really, really hard and I like didn't put myself in the correct situations and I didn't learn the skill sets that I needed. And I was just kind of bouncing around lots of different things. I was a bit lost, right? I never really put 100% effort into any one thing. I was always like spreading myself over a bunch of different things that never really accumulated. And it wasn't until I decided an active decision to go, I'm going to fucking laser focus and I'm going to absolutely smash the guts out of this thing. And I was like, that's when everything started to change. And I changed away from like, how do I mitigate risk to how do I make sure I achieve the goal?
Yeah. There's still a risk. It's just about what you see as the inherent risk. I mean, the biggest risk in your mind is that you don't achieve the goal, right? And then obviously you don't have the lifestyle that you want. And then you don't have that fulfillment, freedom, happiness, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's the big sort of, aha moment here is that the more people I've got around, in this space who are doing really well, it sounds like you're making a sales pitch. Hey, just buy stuff, we've got a course to sell, but it's not about that. I mean, people who are successful, they lean into things with a lot more, aggression and enthusiasm, because usually what it is that they back themselves to be successful. If they know that other people have used that system and been successful, they back themselves to succeed and they back themselves to do the work and they back themselves to ask the questions, and it's like the people that tend to struggle are the ones that they really obsess about the what ifs from a negative perspective, because ultimately that prevents them ever, learning the right things, meeting the right people, trying the right things, having a couple of failures, but ultimately getting to the goal.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like a lot of people, they don't actually genuinely consider what happens when they succeed, right? Like what is the actual tangible and emotional benefit of achieving your goal? What does it feel like from an associative and a dissociative level? So how do I feel when I achieve X? Like if you're here right now and you're like, if you want to get to 10K a month is always like a number, right? It's like 10K, then it's 30K, then it's 50K, then it's 100K. Those are like the numbers that milestones people want to achieve. So like if I want to get to 10K a month, it's like, okay, if I want to think right now, what do I get? What can I do that I can't do at 10K a month? Like for me, years and years ago, when I was working with Travis, right? One of the most powerful things I ever did was like, what's your perfect lifestyle? So like 10 or 11 years ago, I figured out my lifestyle was going to cost me $880,000 a year. I figured that number out, never forgot it. And that life was like, it was very specific. It was the schools my kids are going to. I didn't have kids. It was like kids, schools, cars, house, lifestyle, travel, restaurants. And I was like, fuck, that cost me that much a year. I now have basically that exact life. It took me about 11 years to figure it out. But I always had that particular vision. And now it's different. Like now I'm like, okay, I've achieved that. I want this now. You know what I mean? So and I make more than that. Like, so it's like I can achieve the next sort of strata of what I want to be able to achieve, right? But it's like I had a very, very clear vision. And then I was like, okay, how do I feel when I'm there? And more importantly, how would I feel if in 10 years' time I was exactly where I am now?